Adobe Audition, is the best audio-centric DAW, hands down, period. Whoa, that's a hot take right there. Do I still believe that? That's not a hot take, especially since Adobe Audition is not very well known in many circles as a DAW or perhaps even as a tool for audio. The question is, do I still think that? Stick around and find out. Welcome to Home Studio Quickies, the show where I answer either a recent or relevant question or comment. Let's get into it. Logic is years away front, bro. Adobe is really good, but no for pro studios. Well, I'm going to push back on that just a little bit because I think Adobe is good for pro studios, but it really depends on what you're doing. Now, you heard already what I said about Audition, and that's specifically because I find that it is really good for things like mastering. Now, I've recorded in Reaper, I track in Reaper. In fact, if you watched the end of that video, I recommend Reaper for people who are starting out because it's a somewhat perpetual license. It goes through several versions, $60 for a personal license, and you get to experiment away and learn and grow. Recently, I was watching a masterclass by Jason Levine on mastering audio basics, and someone in the comments brought up this same point that, Audition is really not the best for the job. And this is what he had to say about that.
Jeff Goodland, yes, if Adobe Audition is the only tool that you have to work on audio, it'll work. It's not the best tool for the job. It depends what you're doing. I mean, sure, they all do different things. If you're trying to do analysis, if you're trying to do dithering, if you're trying to do sample rate conversion, I challenge anyone to show me anything that's better. Show me something that's better. Let me see something sonically that's better. Now, if we're talking about other things for post-production, effects, mixing things, yes, there are, because it's limited. It doesn't have some of the things that those do. But actual editing, analysis, mastering with effects too, but just these kinds of details, show me something better. I've not seen anything. And that's not me being biased. I told you, I still haven't moved off it, by the way. I'm likely moving to Logic for multi-tracking, but I still haven't moved off it. Is it the best for multi-tracking? No, it's not. Okay.
And so he goes on to talk about the other parts of preparing audio for broadcast and whatnot. So after seeing that, I felt better about my position, and I also realized some things, namely the limitations in Audition. Now, I've noticed some of them. All of them I haven't noticed, so I'd probably want to ask Jason what limitations he was speaking of specifically. But for me, Audition, when he talked about analysis, let's make sure I do this right. So we have this thing called the Spectral View, and really, I've been able to just fix issues that I've had in audio, like a click or an unwanted thing, just very easily in this. Now, there aren't any real clicks in this audio that I'm aware of. Let's see. If there were a sound that I say wanted to do, there's a spot healing brush here that I could fix an area of audio if I needed to. And I've used that to take out clicks and things like that, and it's just done it very well. Also, if there were any noise, which there isn't here, sometime I'll do another video on eliminating background noise with Adobe Audition. Now, it is limited, of course, because there are just some things where there's just too much noise. Like if you're right next to an air conditioning unit, it's likely not going to take that all away. But it is very capable as an editor. Specifically, let me show you. If I wanted to cut out this section of audio, I just go delete, and there, that's gone. But you can do things like that. You can also do something. It has these on-clip controls. Like, let's say that was too loud for some reason. We can just go like this. And here now you're amplifying, and now we just made it down to 0, infinity. Now let's bring it back up. 0. I shouldn't say 0. 0 is, of course, all the way up here. But down to in the negative numbers, infinity, is quiet. So let's say the whole thing needed to be quiet. You can do sections like that. You can do the whole thing like this. And with the on-clip controls, you can just say it needed to be louder, which it clearly doesn't. It needs to be softer, which, it is what it is. It's very electronic voice. So my final thoughts on Audition are that, yes, it is limited. There are certain things that I wish it had that it doesn't have. Particularly, I wish it had a manual pitch correction like Reaper does, because I use that. Call me crazy for doing manual pitch correction, but sometimes that is just helpful to do. So if in the future you want to hear more details about this, I actually think I want to explore this a little bit more, talk about what I love about Audition, what I wish it had, and the same with Reaper. As time goes on and as I work on more projects, I'm sure I will discover more things. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me through this slightly rambly video. Audition is excellent for audio editing and like these loudness standards and mastering, and it does it very well. If you want to go for tracking, I personally prefer Reaper. Jason Levine said he's probably going to go to Logic for tracking. I have friends who use Logic. Some people love Ableton. I like the flow of Ableton. I haven't gotten into it yet. It's on my New Year's resolution list for several years now to finally learn Live by Ableton. Everyone calls it Ableton. It's Ableton Live. But anyway, Live by Ableton. It is on my list of things to learn. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you all in another video very soon.